Hi, everybody.
Hey.
It's Rob and Debbie. So last night at like 11 p.m., Rob said to me, "Hey, didn't we say my hair was going to be colored next week on the live stream?" So he now has blue hair. Let us know what you think. So we have a few things we're going to cover today. The main things are we're going to cover some spoilers from the upcoming Sorcerer Kickstarter campaign. Maybe you want to just briefly summarize Sorcerer in case anyone hasn't played the game yet before you go into the spoilers. And then we're going to cover some high alert spoilers. And we're trying out a new platform. So if we totally screw it up, have a little patience. It's our first time using this. We wanted to be able to show digital files on the stream. Hopefully it's going to work. You're not going to be able to see me because it's going to cover me when we put the files out.
Just going to put some artwork right here. So we've got some Sorcerer stuff we're going to spoil, and we've got some Star Realms High Alert stuff. So basically we had some requests last week to talk about the new content we have coming out. Sorcerer, for those who haven't played it, is kind of a strategy card game melded with a tactical dice-based board or tabletop game. In Sorcerer, you create a sorcerer at the beginning of the game by choosing one character, one pack, one lineage pack, and one domain pack, and you put these three decks together, you shuffle them up, and that creates your deck for the game. And there's these skill cards, these cover cards that give you special abilities you can use during the course of the game. There are 3 different battlefields you're fighting for, and each of the battlefields you can play minions in each of those locations. When the minions fight, you roll dice. Damage, when minions take damage, you put little damage counters on them that stay on them. And if they ever get damage counters equal to defense, they die. And if your goal is to get 12 damage on 2 of the 3 battlefields, and win 2 of the 3 battlefields in the game. Game is super fun. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous, and the replayability is phenomenal because you have this mechanic where you're creating a different sorcerer each time, and those decks that you create have really interesting synergies in them, and you get a whole lot of new mechanics when you're combining deck A and deck B together. You get all these kind of new synergies and combos. It feels like every time you play Sorcerer, it feels like you're playing a crafted, constructed deck in a TCG where you have these mechanics that are meant to be working together, but you create it simply by choosing the character, the lineage, domain, shuffling them together, and go. So it's very fast to play, and the number of combinations is extremely high. And of course, as you add new sets, those numbers go, those combo possibilities go up and up and up. So we've got a new Kickstarter for Sorcerer coming out. In it, if you haven't played Sorcerer before, you're going to be able to get all the old stuff. And of course, we've got lots of exciting new stuff for Sorcerer, existing Sorcerer players. We'll have 2 new characters, 2 new lineages, 2 new domains that you can get for creating your sorcerers. And we'll also have the Endbringer set, which will allow for solo and cooperative play. Really fun new mechanics in that. So today we're going to talk about one of the new character packs. So we've got character Seth. I don't know if we can bring up the image of that guy. The pack.
I was just reading the comments. Hey. I like this one. Hey, John. Okay, here we go. Bye. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. I transformed Debbie into Seth.
Now a gunslinger.
So Seth is a ancient sorcerer who draws his power from the sins of mortals, and in recent times, as the as the Endbringer stuff is happening. Seth has moved to the American West, where he has a lot of access to the various sins that he gains power from. Seth is mischievous, and he takes great joy in donning the role of a gunslinger. He takes the sins of humans and he crafts them into energy, and he's currently forging that energy into magical bullets. The way this works mechanically, in Seth's deck, you have 7 sin cards. The sins, there's one for each deadly sin. We were just showing Wrath, we saw Greed up there for a second, but we'll go through a few of those. These are a new card type. The sins are free to play. So when your action's up, in Sorcerer, every time you go back and forth taking action. So I'll take an action, maybe I'll play a card, gain energy, draw cards, any of the various mechanics I can do in the game. So normally when you choose to play a card, that's your action. With the sins, they are basically free. So when it's your action, you can choose to play a sin card, and that's in addition to whatever other action you want to perform. So you can play a sin card and then perform some different action. And each of the sin cards has a minor effect. So in this case, Wrath is dealing a collateral damage. Collateral damage is a new mechanic that we have in the Endbringer Kickstarter. Collateral damage is basically damage that your opponent gets to assign. So it's kind of like rolling a damage in combat. So your opponent gets to assign it has to assign it to their side of the battlefield or to one of their minions. And a little bit like weakening, collateral damage can't finish something off. So basically you can't assign a collateral damage as the last point of damage to a minion. You can't assign it as the last point of damage to a battlefield. So in the case of Wrath, it deals collateral damage. Let's show the next in. Okay, and here with Greed, gain an energy. So all the sin cards give you small mechanic. Let's see which one we got.
You want me to
the next one? Yeah, sorry. Lust,
sorry.
I think is the next one. Yeah. So so basically, you have these. So we have these 7 different sin cards. Give you minor mechanics. Now let's go back to the Seth for a minute. So when you play a sin card, in addition to that minor effect, the sin card gets attached to the Seth character skill card. So basically, he'll end up getting these sins attached to him over time. This represents the energy he's been gathering as he collects these sins. And then for Seth's character action, so every character in Sorcerer has an action ability. So for an action, you can activate your character's special ability. In the case of Seth, you can activate him, spend your action, activate him, and you will remove all the skill cards that are attached to Seth that you've been collecting through the course of the game and shuffle them back into the deck. And you'll deal collateral damage to the location where Seth is, your avatar standee, to equal to the number of sin cards you shuffled back into your deck plus 1, and then you get to draw 2 cards. So basically, this represents Seth like raining bullets down in that area, the collateral damage again is assigned by opponent, and so this can really weaken a particular area. Now, you can't win a battlefield through collateral damage because you can't assign the final point, but it can be a really devastating blow if you can set it up properly with a bunch of those sin cards attached. And to help ensure that Seth, that when you're playing Seth, you have a ready supply of sin cards available, There's also Seth's deck also consists of 3 of these Sin Eater cards. So this is a standard sorcery card, and when you play this, you get to look through your graveyard and your grimoire for 2 sins and put them directly into your hand. So that obviously can really power up your turn as you go forward. Normally sin cards don't end up in your discard pile. Normally when you play a sin, it attaches to your character skill card, and then when you activate your character ability, those sins get shuffled back into your deck. But maybe you're playing against the Animist or some other opponent that has the ability to make you discard cards or get those cards out of your hand. With your Sin Eater sorcery, you're able to get those back into your hand if they ever end up in your discard pile. So Seth is really fun to play. You got the new mechanic of the sort of being able to do those extra abilities and figuring out when to time the use of his power can be it's a lot of fun, and of course super flavorful and beautiful artwork as with all the stuff in Sorcerer.
Got a question for you.
Sure.
Will previous Kickstarter exclusives be available?
Yes. So there will be, with all our Kickstarters, we do Kickstarter exclusives. And with the Sorcerer Kickstarter in particular, the first one, we unlocked a lot of really cool content in that one. There was a bunch of Kickstarter exclusive packs, some that you could buy in the Kickstarter campaign, and others, and a whole bunch that unlocked as stretch goals. Those will be available in this Kickstarter campaign. We'll have them in 2 ways. You'll be able to buy them individually as add-ons, and for those who are new to Sorcerer and just want to get all the old stuff, we will have a tier that will include all the old stuff from the original Kickstarter and the new stuff. And of course that one will be sort of a better pricing thing if you get all the stuff together. But yes, you'll be able to get all the old Sorcerer stuff, all the Kickstarter exclusives in this upcoming Sorcerer Kickstarter.
And I just want to comment that the artwork, if you're interested in taking a further look at it, we posted a blog post. Katie will post the link below in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the fun things about the Sorcerers, it's taking place in the Victorian era, and so the base set is set in the battles taking place in London, we have sorcerers from all around the world that some that you saw in the first Kickstarter, and then we've got more here. And the American the Wild West period overlaps with that same time period. So yeah, we'll have additional sets that are set in North America in this Kickstarter as well, and I'm sure we'll get into some more of those in future spoilers. Do we have any other Sorcerer questions?
I don't think so. Let me just do a quick check here. Just a lot of positive comments.
Yeah, the Sorcerer stuff is so beautiful, and the game is super fun. And like a lot of our games, it's a phenomenal 2-player experience. So you can do 3, 4 players out of the base set as well. And for some players, the multiplayer play is their, the 3, 4 player games are their favorite. But it plays like Star Realms and Hero Realms. It plays really, really well 2-player. So definitely something to check out if you haven't played it already. Speaking of Star Realms, we've got some new Star Realms sets coming up. So we did a Kickstarter that was a combination of Epic and Star Realms. So it was Epic Jungle with Star Realms High Alert. The Epic stuff we talked a little bit about last week. We have the new dual set for Epic that is currently in the beta in the digital app for Epic, and so we're showing off some of those new cards. We're going to be doing
coming soon to the regular app.
Coming soon to the regular app. Coming soon. We'll have a for our Kickstarter backers to we're going to have a print and play available of the dual set for you guys shortly, and then of course the actual printed product is in the pipeline. We're going to be getting that out to folks as soon as we can. Everything's a little bit slower currently than normal, but
a little bit.
But lots of cool stuff going on there, and of course we have the Star Realms High Alert stuff. Some really cool new cards for Star Realms. Let's get into a few of those. One of the cool things we're doing with the High Alert is multi-faction heroes. This hero is both Machine Cult and Trade Federation, and the top box here happens when you acquire the card. So when you buy this hero from the trade row, you immediately are considered to have a blue and red card in play. So this will, when you buy it, you can it can help you trigger your ally and double ally abilities. And then it also has a sacrifice ability. And the sacrifice ability does two things. One, it counts as playing a Machine Cult and Trade Federation card. And if you do that on the same turn that you bought it, it counts as having two cards for the purpose of double ally, for example. And because you get the one for acquiring it and the one for the sacrifice ability. And these cards also have two different mechanics that you can choose from. So when you sacrifice it, you basically get to choose which faction's power you're gaining access to. So in this case, you can scrap a card in your hand or discard pile, or you can gain authority. So basically, depending on what's going on in the game, you get to choose which mechanic you want. But in either case, you get both the Machine Cult and the Trade Federation counts, having those in play for the purpose of triggering those ally abilities. And that's for me, one of the most powerful things about heroes is not the individual mechanics that hero gives, but the ability to trigger those ally abilities at will. If you have a really powerful ally ability in your deck, buying a hero and knowing, okay, I've got this guy in play, and whether or not I happen to draw my Trade Federation cards together, I'm going to be able to trigger that Trade Federation ally ability that I really want to get to. Okay.
So before we move on, I just want to add a comment about this card. This card is actually based on a member of our community who is awesome, super active. His name's Derek Thompson. And so I just wanted to mention that. And then also one of my personal favorite contributions that he's made to the community has been he created a Star Realms Buyer's Guide, which is phenomenal. And he wrote it for Geeks Under Grace. And I actually asked him as a favor to me to update it recently so that it would have it would have the more updated products. Yeah. It's not updated for like all. I don't think it has every single new thing. I don't remember where it stops, but basically he goes into like each Star Realms set, talks about what it's about, why you should buy it, how to get started. Is an awesome link. Katie can post it below in the comments, but it's an awesome resource if you have someone who's trying to get into Star Realms and they're not sure,
Yeah.
like, where do I start? There's like so many products.
Yeah. It's great for people who are completely new. It's also if you own a bunch of Star Realm stuff, but you don't completely own everything, it's a great way to, he does a really great job of talking about like what's cool, what you'll enjoy about each of those sets.
Okay. So next card.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
He's gone. So this is one you've seen before, but I just love the artwork so much we had to throw it up there again. So this is the Alphamax, really powerful blob ship, and it's got the double ally ability. So this card is, of course, very simple mechanically, but oh boy, can this thing be a beast. 5 combat draw card, so always going to be useful in your deck. Obviously, as a 7 cost ship, it's going to be doing some pretty spectacular stuff. So 5 combat draw card. If you've got another blob card out, you're going to be drawing a second card, and if you've got a third blob card out, you're going to be drawing a third card, which can really help those explosive late game blob scenarios you can get to. So in the much like Blob World and some other blob cards, this one really rewards a very heavy commitment to the blob. You can have some really devastating late game turns with this guy. Okay, so we have a brand new card type in High Alert called Tech, and Tech is in the trade deck just like everything else. Gets shuffled up, comes out into the trade row. But Tech, like Heroes, when you purchase Tech, it goes directly into play. So you don't have to wait to draw it. And Tech is a permanent modification of what you can do in the game. So when you get Tech, it's not going away. It stays there. Unlike a base, your opponent can't destroy it. And unlike a hero, it's not use it once and then it's gone. Tech is a permanent modification. However, for the Tech to do anything, you have to pay to use it. So in this case, each turn, once per turn, you're able to pay 2 to return a base to its owner's hand. So you can use this on your own base. Let's say you've got like a Brain World out and you scrap 2 cards in your discard pile, draw 2 cards. You can then pay 2, return your Brain World to your own hand, play it back on the table, activate it again, so it can be extraordinarily powerful if you've got a powerful base in play. Of course, you can also use this to get an opponent's outpost temporarily out of the way. You can use it to return their base to their hand, and then now that card will be in their hand, so they'll play it next turn. But let's say you've got like 4 points of damage available, and they've got an outpost with a defensive 5, preventing you from doing anything. You can use the tractor beam to get that out of the way. So most powerful when used with your own bases, but can be useful with your opponents. So I see a comment here say, please say this can only be used once a turn. Yes, so that is a feature of Tech. So basically, there'll be a rule sheet that comes in with the set of cards, and so all the Tech you'll see is you have the ability to use this once per turn. So much like a base, it's got an ability, you can activate that ability once on your turn. So in this case, the base return, and yeah, tractor beam's pretty powerful. Tech is obviously, so a lot like Heroes, when you're late in the game, it's very exciting when Tech hits the market. You might be like buying to try and get to Tech because it has that immediate impact on the game. But in the early game, very early on in the game, Tech can be dangerous to buy because you're not building yourself up. You're not increasing your trade. You're not like this card costs 4. When you buy it, it'll go directly into play, but you don't have any bases yet. And even if you did, it costs 2 to activate, so that would prevent you from buying stuff. And one of the really interesting things when you're playing with tech in your game is sort of figuring out, okay, like let's say this piece of tech was out in the beginning of the game, and both players are sort of avoiding it at the very beginning because they're trying to build up their trade, their purchase capacity, or basically get their deck rolling. But there becomes a point in the game where you're definitely going to want to have this, and sort of figuring out when that is, it can be really interesting.
How do you like that comment? Hi, Peter.
I missed it.
Is that blue hair? Hi, everyone that's saying hi.
So okay, let's hop to the next card.
All right.
Okay. Sapphire City Base. Did you want to talk about Sapphire City Base?
Sure. Well, this one's in the First Strike Kickstarter exclusive pack. Just so if you were back on the Kickstarter, you get this in that pack. I just want to mention it's not in the retail versions of the packs that are coming out. But it will eventually come out in retail. This Sapphire City Base is actually inspired by a real game store. It's really cool. Sapphire City Game Parlor in Ohio. They really wanted to have a base named after them, and they have it. So, we have different options in the Kickstarter where you can name a card, or have your likeness on a card. And in case people are wondering, how come these people are on cards? Sometimes people are on cards because they won a tournament, and sometimes it's because they provided a higher level of support on the Kickstarter because they were really excited about being on a card too. But that's how you do that.
And so mechanically, obviously, Trade Federation. So this one has the requisition mechanic where basically the card becomes cheaper to acquire, cheaper to buy from the trade row for each card of that faction you've played this turn. So normally Sapphire City base costs 5, and it's a solid 5 cost card. It's a defense 5 outpost, creates 2 combat and 2 authority every single turn. So a nice combat base. But this card becomes cheaper for each Trade Federation card you play. So you'll see this mechanic in one of the regular packs, and also in the promo pack. We revisit this mechanic on some of the cards. So basically, let's say you played 2 Trade Federation cards this turn. The Sapphire City base price drops down to 3. Or if your entire hand was Trade Federation, the price could drop all the way down to 0. It of course does not go negative, but yeah, the price can drop all the way down to 0 on this card. So cards like this are reward players who, the more you have of the faction, the better they are. They tend to be a little bit overpriced at if you're buying them without any without activating the ability at all. But as the more and more you activate it, the better the deal it can become. So these can be really powerful later in the game as you've built up a faction in your deck. And some of the more expensive ones, you can, like if there's a card with requisition that's more expensive, like maybe a 6, 7, 8, you can start buying cards of that faction in the hope that you can race your opponent to get that card more quickly.
And James just commented, "Hey, that's my shop."
Yes,
so it's nice
yes, it is.
To have you on here.
Okay, so the Hellfire. This is another example of the requisition mechanic. So really cool Star Empire ship here. 5 combat and forces your opponent to discard. with the ally ability to draw a card and then discard a card. So basically can help you recycling station style dig through your deck in that Star Empire draw and discard fashion. Again, a card where the more Star Empire cards you play in a turn, the cheaper and cheaper it gets. So at 4, Hellfire's solid purchase. There may be some more attractive cards you could pick up for that amount of trade, but starts looking really good at 3, and oh my gosh, at 2, etc. Like this, the value of the card versus its cost will change depending on your game state. So that's.
So before we move on to the next card, we have one more card in case people are wondering how many are you going to go over here. Morgan Tizer asked a question about whether we were going to do a Legend series, an online Legend series. I'll speak to Origins Online. We just signed up for Origins Online to participate as an exhibitor. Not quite sure what it all means. But we'll be part of that. And we'll also be doing a live stream playthrough video and a 15-minute spotlight video as part of Origins Online. I don't yet know if we're going to have an event as part of Origins Online because that process is ongoing, but we definitely plan to do a Legend series online. So it might be part of Origins Online. It might be separate. The timing is so fast for Origins Online that it's likely that it would because it's like a month away. Yeah. So, and they're still kind of like getting us communications about it. So I'm thinking, we were talking about this yesterday. I'm trying to figure out if it's better to try to put that together quickly or to just do our own thing separate from Origins Online. But we definitely will have a Legend series, online Legend series. And we will do it as soon as we, in the relatively near future.
Yeah. And we just missed the ability to go to conventions in general. Like we have a ton of fun at them. We love, getting together with the community. And we love the big events, like, the big Star Realms events, big Epic events, big Hero Realms events, having those sort of big, cool, community, events is awesome. We obviously with Star Realms and with Epic, we've got the awesome digital apps. We're working long term. We'd love to have apps for all our games, but right now we have the Star Realms and Epic digital capabilities. So we, as David mentioned, we're looking into running events, running big events. There's some logistics involved, figuring out exactly how we're gonna handle it and such. But yeah, we're really interested in doing those Legend Series events. On the Epic side, we are looking at we're working to implement weekly championship tournaments. So in addition to the arena that exists at all times and the monthly championship, which has the monthly championship in Epic has lots of cool digital prizes. Also has a $500 first place prize, and you can qualify that by doing well in the Epic arena. In addition to that, we're looking at adding weekly tournaments, which will be open to everybody. And then on the Star Realm side, we're really interested in trying to get Legend series going digitally, and hopefully we'll see if the Origins is a possibility. We're working on
I'll make that we'll come back and hopefully have some details by next week, but that's a priority for us to figure that out. So
especially given that we can't go to those big cons.
We just signed up with Origins Online, so okay, let's go to the next card. Here we go.
Okay, so guidance. So not all the tech is expensive to acquire and expensive to activate. It much like everything else in Star Realms, it runs the gambit of low to high costs. And so guidance is pretty cheap to acquire. So it only costs you 1 to purchase. And its effect is fairly subtle. You can pay 1 to scrap a card in the trade row. So it's not, you're never going to kill your opponent with guidance. However, it really gives you a incredible ability to control the long-term shape of the game, being able to pull those cards out of the market, out of the trade row that work well with your opponent's deck, allowing you to dig a little deeper for the right cards for you. So basically, this card can have a pretty profound impact on the game, even though it's not generating combat or trade or anything that you would use directly to on your path to victory. But it gives you a really nice level of control over the game. And guys, it's kind of one of those interesting ones where you'll be looking at a couple different purchase options on the board, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll buy this cheaper thing and also also grab guidance. So down the road, that'll pay off.
And I want to comment on, Dustin had a positive comment. That's great. Oh. I'm gonna take the image off of my face.
She's back.
Hi guys. So a couple things. We also have posted a blog post covering these new High Alert cards. Last time when we covered the Star Realms Legacy game, Mega Holland did a fantastic job covering it, but they were like grabbing screenshots off of the Facebook.
Yeah,
Live.
I was doing the hold the iPad
so we're
up
trying to, obviously, we're trying to get better at showing higher quality art that you guys can view when we're streaming, but also we prepare blog posts so that if anyone wants to talk about these topics offline on their streams, on their blogs, they can get the art from there. And if you ever need art, you can always, ping us and say, hey, Debbie, I need that piece of art that, Rob showed and you didn't put a blog post about it or something. So we're always happy to share art for things like that. And if someone can post the link to Mega Holland below, I encourage people to go and check it out. They actually covered the Legacy game, which was cool. And they're always covering awesome stuff. And yeah, it's a good, definitely check it out. Do we have anything else big to cover?
I think that's our,
let me check comments and
does
see.
It for our news. Yeah, we can jump into comments and questions. So,
Morgan said, so I've been screen grabbing for nothing. Sorry, I should have said that at the beginning.
That's all right. It's
yeah. So the link is posted now in the comments, so you can grab the art.
And the article doesn't have every card that we covered here. So basically, I think
and Rob isn't in that. So your screen grabs could highlight Rob.
He was totally grabbing just that part of the screen without me.
Oh, and there's the link. Alex posted the link to Mega Holland. Thank you.
Yeah, the Mega Holland stuff is awesome. If you're a Star Realms fan, check it out. They got tons and tons of cool content. Wanted to.
Where is below? Oh, I just want to comment on this. So when I say below, it's in the comments. So when I say, someone posted the link, so in the comments of the Facebook Live, the links are posted in the comments. When I say it's posted below, I mean in the comments. I don't know because I'm streaming how it looks on Facebook, but in the comments that are coming live during the stream, that's where we post the links to the resources that we're talking about. And if you need something, you can ask a question. That's also where you ask questions.
Yeah, David was saying how he's looking forward to the Legacy style Star Realms. That is super, super cool. That's something we talked about last week. But it really, really awesome. The Rise of Empire set that we have coming up. So that'll be coming to Kickstarter this fall. Just incredibly fun to play. For longtime Star Realms fans, there's a lot of awesomeness there.
We have multiple people asking, when is High Alerts coming to them?
I
know you might not know the answer, but they want to know.
Unfortunately, I don't know the answer right now. We'll be obviously we'll talk as we give more details on that. We'll talk about it here, every week. I'll also be updating the Kickstarter backers as we go. We're looking at various, everything from production to fulfillment, trying to figure out how to streamline the process the most to, deal with the various delays and shutdowns and such caused, by COVID. So hopefully, my hope is that we'll only be a little bit late on it, but I can't really give any meaningful information yet. As soon as we have it, I'll share it on the to Kickstarter backers directly through an update on the Kickstarter, and of course we'll talk about it here as it's coming.
Yeah, and I just want to comment because I realized what was happening with the person who was like, I don't see any links here, is that this is the first time that we are streaming to multiple pages. So we're trying to reach everyone who this might be interesting to. So this time we stream to the White Wizard Games page, which is where we've been streaming every week. And this week we actually started streaming to 2 pages. So because I can only stream to 2 places at once, unless I upgrade the platform that we're working on. But this week we're streaming to White Wizard Games and the Star Realms page. So if you're watching this on the Star Realms page, if you go to White Wizard Games and look on that page and see the live stream there, it'll be there after the fact as well. And you can look in the comments there and all of the links are there. So apologies for that. We're figuring this out. But if you're watching over there, you probably wouldn't have seen it if we didn't stream on 2 pages. So I think
we could also
helpful.
We could probably post a link to that page on the other page.
Yeah, well, Katie, maybe we can post the links under the Star Realms live stream as well at the end. Those just a handful of links.
Yeah. And I just want to take a quick minute to do a shout out to all the White Wizard Games team who's been working so hard on all the stuff. I'm a bit of a taskmaster. Randy and Adam have been chugging away on graphic design, getting all the stuff for Epic and Star Realms, ready for get the printer ready files, the Star Realms Deluxe Edition Nova Collection, working on the foiling process for that, and of course all the million things we need there. Darwin has been hard at work on some awesome new Hero Realms content, which we'll talk about at some point. Antonis has been doing phenomenal stuff with art. Peter has been working so hard on the sorcerer content. Katie's been
customer support's been very busy. They've been shipping
our fulfillment partners have been working so hard to try and get so we're in the process of fulfilling the Hero Realms Kickstarter, which is of course challenging with all the shutdowns, and our partners have been working very hard on that. And I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but basically our team has worked really, really hard through all this chaos, and I want to thank them. Obviously, Debbie and I are here, talking to you directly, but there is just a really big team behind us working super hard. Vito's been working on the video for the upcoming Sorcerer Kickstarter, and on the all the card frames and stuff on the new Star Realms content, that all the new stuff for the Legacy Star Realms, all those card frames and stuff. It's Vito's wheelhouse.
We're keeping very busy.
So yeah, we've got everybody's been working super, super hard, and I'm grateful to our entire team. They've been awesome.
So definitely not June then.
Yeah, we are unfortunately we are not going to hit June like
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. But I mean, we're basically at this time we're just doing the final tweaks to the files. So basically, some of the stuff is already submitted to the printer, and other stuff is just getting those final tweaks. And so we're I don't know exactly how long the process is going to take right now, but and it depends on whether we do fulfillment direct from Asia, ship stuff around the world, etc. But we're close. But I don't think it's we're gonna make June, but it won't be too much. It won't be too much after that. Knock on.
Rob's very optimistic. I just want to on timelines. Yeah. But yeah, I think we can come back with some estimates when we get a little bit further along in the process. So Adam Mancy, go team. Adam, last night at the end of the day, I was like, hey, could you make some overlays for my stream for tomorrow?
If those overlays worked for you guys, it looked like they worked for us, but if they worked for you guys, that's on Adam.
Yeah, he really worked after hours to create those for us so that we could show the art in a better way. But now we'll have a system and we know how to do it. Oh, Randy's like, you're going to have a meeting. Randy wants to talk with you now that you're saying, oh, it's going to be there soon. Will commanders come to the Star Realms app? I think we answered that before, but basically
all Star Realms content will eventually make it into the app. So basically this is, the app is, we want the app to be as complete like the physical game as possible. So that's something we're always working to do. So our team is, our digital team has been working away on stuff. And yes, the legendary commanders are in the pipeline for the app. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Peter said your optimism is your superpower. It really is. He just doesn't stop, and he's nonstop going. I'm super positive. And yeah, Randy was actually trying to get a hold of you like 5 minutes before we went live to meet with you, but he's waiting for you
soon,
right now,
Randy.
so
I'll be with you soon.
Wrap up. He's put in the comments that he's ready and waiting, and I think that's it. So and also Alex said, tell Adam Popberg, gonna miss him. So all of our event staff is awesome. We have the best event team, and we also have a team in Germany for the Essen show. And it is hard. We are gonna miss not going to the big conventions this year, but we obviously have reasons why we're doing that. So can't wait for next year, and we're gonna be busy getting games out. So.
Yeah, we miss we miss our coworkers, we miss our players, but we'll see you all guys all online.
Yeah. We wouldn't have this if COVID didn't happen. Yeah. So, all right, thanks everyone. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.